So what are the key things that an athlete should be focusing on with this type of training?
So to make sure the strength training is going to help their speed, to make sure it's going to carry over. That's what we spend a lot of time talking about with coaches, with pros internationally. Transfer of training, right? If you go in the weight room and you do a lot of work, but it doesn't make you faster, that's not what they're looking for. So transfer of training. So to get transfer of training for speed, a couple things we got to do. First of all, we have to make sure we're recruiting fast twitch fibers. That's kind of the definition of big force, small time. Think about it. Fast twitch fibers. These are the ones in your body that can apply a lot of force and, listen to the name, fast twitch. So those are what we're after. If you're going in the weight room and you're doing lots of work, but it's work that works the slow twitch fibers. Yeah, it might make you look good sometimes, but it's not really teaching them how to fire fast, fire explosively. It's not going to help your speed that much. So to help your speed, we want to focus on fast twitch fibers, big force, small time, and there's exercises and ways of training that help you do this.
So Ken, what are the common mistakes you see athletes make when they are strength training for speed?
First one, they're going in that weight room and they're thinking about training muscles instead of training movements. So what does that mean? Sports are about movement, it's about efficiency. That's what we've been talking about. That's what we're trying to train. But if you go in the weight room and now you're focused on a muscle, right? You're focused on the bicep or the chest. You're just focused on getting that muscle by itself. It's the wrong idea. The brain's about motor control. That's movement, and that's about coordinating multiple muscles at the same time. So we need our lifts, we need our strength training to do the same thing. We got to coordinate multiple joints, multiple muscles at the same time. So that's problem number one. You got to train movements, don't just train muscles.
Not every strong athlete is fast. Why is that?
They're definitely not. We can see Olympic weightlifters, we can see bodybuilders. I mean, there's guys that can put up a lot of strength, right? But they can't always go sprint. Well, you got to ask why. So this is that idea we talked about before, transfer of training. We have to design everything in the program to get results in what we're trying to do, speed on the field, on the court, in the game. So are they training the right things? We've already talked about it. You got to do that. Are they making sure it's fast twitch instead of just strength? Big force, small time. Both pieces got to be there. And then we got to make sure we're combining this with the movement. So we're talking about right now the strength's a really important piece. And it is. It's critical. But again, we don't want to isolate it. We don't want to throw out the other pieces. We got to tie together everything. You got to have the strength, the movement, and all the pieces so that you can really make this effective.
When it comes to strength training, how quickly can someone expect to see results in their speed?
Oh, this is one of the great things. If you're doing the type of lifts that we're going to put in a speed program, you're going to see some results right away. Now, that's not because you've really gotten stronger. That's because you've stimulated the neuromuscular system. You've stimulated those fast twitch fibers we were talking about. And that's going to transfer over now into your speed work. So in the first 2 weeks, you're going to have that neural effect. That's the first thing that happens. And then week by week, as you get to weeks 4 and 6, now you're going to have some effects from more contractile proteins, all those structural type of things that get you strong. But in the first 2 weeks, you're going to get an immediate effect from the neuromuscular aspect.
So a lot of athletes are concerned that when they strength train, they're going to get bulky muscles and become muscle bound. Is that actually true?
No, not if you do it right. So you go out and you just follow some old school program, you're trying to bodybuild, you might get some of that effect, sure. But that's not what we're talking about here, okay? We're talking about strength training for speed. Certain exercises that we've been talking about, avoiding these bad ideas. If you do that, you are going to move smooth. Look at the best sprinters in the world, right? They have muscle, okay? They're not skin and bones, but those muscles are moving fluidly through a full range of motion. That's the training that's going to make a difference. So that idea, that myth that, oh, training with weights is going to make you muscle bound, it's exactly that. It's a myth. There's not a fast athlete in the world that's at the top level that doesn't use some type of weight training.
Thanks, Ken, for all that great info. I think that makes it very clear to athletes that they need to get stronger to get faster. In our next video, we are going to give you the blueprint for putting it all together to help you become the fastest athlete that you can be.